Okay, guys, we are in Job 14. Now, Job is continuing here his response. I believe it's the third chapter, yeah, of his response to his three friends and their first onslaught of accusations and trying to get him to take responsibility for something he didn't do. And he's letting them have it. He's laying on them and letting them have it because he's tired of it. He sounds like he's angry and frustrated, and he's calling them out. So let's go back to the previous chapter and read a couple verses. Right here in verse 24, why do you hide your face and regard me as your enemy? Will you frighten a leaf driven to and fro, and will you pursue dry stubble? For you write bitter things against me, and make me inherit the iniquities of my youth. You put my feet in the stocks, and watch closely all my paths. You set a limit for the soles of my feet. Man decays like a rotten thing, like a garment that is moth-eaten. So he's talking to God about this. This is a prayer that he's praying from this chapter. But is he wrong in what he's saying? Well, not necessarily. God does guide our steps. He sets our path before us, so it's true. But he continues in chapter 14. Verse 1, man who is born of woman is a few days and full of trouble. He comes forth like a flower and fades away. He flees like a shadow and does not continue. And do you open your eyes on such a one, and bring me to judgment with yourself? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? No one. Well, God can. Since his days are determined, the number of his months is with you. You have appointed his limits so that he cannot pass. Job isn't accusing God of anything that isn't true. That's the truth. Your whole life is structured and appointed. Verse 6, look away from him that he may rest, till like a hired man he finishes his day. For there is hope for a tree, if it is cut down, that it will soon sprout again, and that its tender shoots will not cease. Though its root may grow old in the earth, and its stump may die in the ground. Yet at the scent of water it will bud and bring forth branches like a plant. Now here's the part I highlighted. But man dies and is laid away. Indeed, he breathes his last, and where is he? As water disappears from the sea, and a river becomes parched and dries up, evaporates, so man lies down and does not rise, till the heavens are no more. They will not wake nor be roused from their sleep. Oh, that you would hide me in the grave, that you would conceal me until your wrath is past, that you would appoint me a set time and remember me. That's a very interesting verse there. What do you think he's talking about? If a man dies, shall he live again? Verse 14. All the days of my hard service I will wait till my change comes. Till his change comes. What change is that? Till he's changed into something else, maybe? Verse 15. You shall call and I will answer you. You shall desire the work of your hands. For now you number my steps, but do not watch over my sin. My transgression is sealed up in a bag, and you cover my iniquity. But as a mountain falls and crumbles away, and as a rock is moved from its place, as water wears away stones, and as torrents wash away the soil of the earth, so you destroy the hope of man. You prevail forever against him, and he passes on. You change his countenance and send him away. His sons come to honor, and he does not know it. They are brought low, and he does not perceive it. But his flesh will be in pain over it, and his soul will mourn over it. Is Job wrong in anything that he says? From a perspective, no. Is he saying anything that is untrue? In a way, no. But what he doesn't know is that God actually does pay very close attention. And see, now keep in mind, as we're reading through this, he's only seeing this from one perspective, his perspective. He's not seeing it from other perspectives. Remember the first chapter, and even in the second chapter, what did God say to Satan? Have you considered my servant Job? So God was very, very much attentive to him. So in a way, Job is unfairly, not accusing God, but unfairly laying certain attributes to him that aren't there. He's actually very fond of his creation and pays very close attention to it. But again, Job is in a certain kind of state too. Not only has he lost everything, and the people that he thought were on his side betrayed him, but now his friends who supposedly were on his side have betrayed him too, and have accused him. So Job is justified in his speech here, but the one thing he never has yet done is accuse God of anything. Nothing that wasn't true anyway, from a certain perspective. But now Job is going to get a new perspective. And as we go through this, we're going to see that. So Job has made his speech, and the big part of it was he was telling his three friends, you all need to stop talking because none of y'all have anything constructive to offer here. You are not helping me. But the one thing that was interesting was that Job never gave up. He never lost faith. He never turned away. He never cursed God and died. He held on to that, and in fact stood up for God at the beginning of this response. Much of what we go through in this life puts us in a very similar situation as Job. Not physically, but with the mentality that he has. And is it wrong to have that mentality? Well, no, not necessarily. What's wrong is whenever you blame all your problems on God when it's not his fault. He may allow things to happen like he did Satan with Job. He may actually inflict us with things. But it's not for the reasons we may think. It's for much different reasons. It's for our betterment. It's for our salvation. Some people he brings into those types of situations to bring them around so that they would get saved. That's what it's going to take. See, he knows the heart better than anybody. So what he's done with Job here, and Job doesn't know this yet, so we have to kind of be in Job's corner a little bit on this. Job doesn't know this yet of what God is doing here. God is going to use this as an opportunity to give him a much better life. What an amazing example this is going to turn into when we get to the end. So guys, that was Job 14. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, day after tomorrow is Job 15. Eliphaz accuses Job of folly. Now, they're probably mad because he called them out a couple of chapters ago to their face. And so now they're going to just not disguise their response at all. They're just going to lay right into him with everything they have. And it's not going to work, and it's not going to come out properly for them the way they want it to. It's going to end up backfiring on them because when all is said and done, God steps in and says, and is what was really cool about this, and we'll get to that chapter, is that at one point they mentioned seeing God coming. And I believe it's one of his friends that points it out. So it's funny that they're so aware of God and even mention him and mention what he says in a lot of cases, but they're still blaming Job and saying it's all Job's fault. See, they don't know what's going on either. But for them to blame him it's not right for them to do that because they're doing something that they had no right to do. And again, it also seems to indicate to me that they knew more about what was going on in his house than what Job did. And I don't know if maybe these guys might have been partakers in it or not. But they seem to have, in their responses, an uncannily detailed knowledge of what was going on in Job's house because they were blaming Job for it. And being quite specific. So, who knows? We'll see when we get there. We still have a bunch of chapters to go. So there's Job 14, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.